All right, guys, let's talk through event 2. This is the chili clean. The expectation and the time domains are the same for RX and scaled. And so here it is. You have 5 deadlifts followed by 1 power clean. So the expectation is all these deadlifts are going to be touch and go, which means that both sides of the barbell bumper plates are touching the ground and going. Tension is never off of the body. If the bar is resting on the ground or if plates touch more than once between repetitions to the ground, it is a no rep. We must start from the beginning. That's how this complex is going to work. So 5 deadlifts, all touch and go. Once the barbell has reached an open hip in the 5th deadlift, the bar must then be returned to the ground and then brought up into a power clean. And the expectation is that it is a power clean, which means that the hip crease cannot get below the knee in the catch position, right? And the final repetition is finished when the elbows have passed the vertical plane of the bar and the hips are open at the top. All must take place in order for the rep to be good. So here's a few things that we need to be watching for. No lifting straps are allowed in this complex. Also, athletes are not allowed to change their grip in the middle of their set. They must maintain the same grip throughout the set. Athletes are also not allowed to set the bar in their hips to rest in the middle of the complex. That's not to say that the athlete has to continue moving throughout the 6 total repetitions. They are allowed to pause at the top, but they cannot rest the bar in their hips as they pause at the top. And obviously, they can't pause in the bottom. Pretty self-explanatory, but in terms of time domain, it's a 12-minute clock, and in the first 6 minutes, both ladies are responsible, particularly the ladies are responsible in the first 6 minutes to establish their max load. So between the two of them, 6 minutes, that's about 3 minutes apiece. They're welcome to have athlete 1 go all the way through to find her max load, and then athlete 2 can go. They're also welcome to go back and forth. The judge's responsibility is to make sure that the athlete has declared their weight before they begin the attempt, and that upon a successful completion of that attempt, the judge will note the load for athlete 1 and as well as athlete 2. A hard transition at 6 minutes into the male athletes being able to go. Now, people have asked, will the male athletes be able to begin early in the case that the female athletes complete their lifts early? No, they will not be able to begin early. They must wait until that 6-minute mark to begin their journey of finding their max load, right? Most folks coming into this are going to have some idea of what they're going to be able to hit. Some are going to get 2 or 3 attempts and call it. Some may get upwards of 4 or 5 attempts just because they didn't know what they'd be able to do, and they're going to surprise themselves, and it's going to be awesome. But we need to make sure that as judges, we are counting reps properly. So 5 deadlifts. That 5th deadlift gets to the open hip. I'm standing after the 5th deadlift, returning to the ground, all the way to the ground, immediately touching going into that final rep, the power clean, catching the bar, elbows through and hips open to complete the rep. That is the chili clean, event number 2. Stay tuned for event number 3.